Hello, everyone. Sabin Paris here, your creative breakthrough coach. And I'm back with another tip. Tip number 99, I think I'll call it. And if you want to know more about me and my coaching, you can have a look at infinitycoaching.biz. I was reading a book of mine, which is one of my oldest books, really old. And it's called Funny Poems from my childhood, actually. And I don't know why I was reading this particular poem that I'm going to read you. Maybe because a lot of people are dying at the moment that really shouldn't be. But although it's called Funny Poems, they had a section on epitaphs. And this is the poem. It's called Gone But Not Forgotten. The troubled world is sighing now. The flu is at the door. And many folks are dying now who never died before. And so I ended up thinking about death as usual. But I mean, death is just the flip side of life, isn't it? It's like laughing and crying, being happy and being sad. You can't have one without the other. So I don't particularly look at it as anything negative. I mean, this you could say that this tree has died, and yet if I take this small part of it, if it wants me to, and this can now, if I left it there, it would feed other trees and insects. But if I take it, it'll feed my paintings, and I'll give my paintings to other people, and it'll become part of somebody else's life. But I was thinking, what about if we turn things around, creatively speaking, and don't look at death in the same old traditional way? What about if we ask the question, who's leaving whom when someone has to go? Who's leaving whom? We traditionally think that when we die, we disappear, we're gone, and we leave everyone else behind us. Or if somebody dies and we're still here, we think that they've left us. Well, what about if we turn that on its head and imagine that when we die, they had to leave us? We're fine. We're still wherever we're going to be. But unfortunately, everyone else couldn't hang around. They had other stuff to do. And that might sound a little sad, and yet we can do something about that. As creative souls, we can give them a little something to remember us by. We can leave them with a token of our relationship, so that when they've gone, wherever they've got to go, they can look on this thing that we've offered them. It might be something big, might be a big painting or a book of photos, or it might be something very modest like a postcard or a small painting or a recipe or or a poem that you wrote for them. And they won't feel so lonely or so sad. And they'll look back and think, yeah, you know, I'm glad I knew him, Sab. I'm glad I knew Sab. uh, and I think he was glad that he knew me too. So my invitation to you is to devote your life to creating as much stuff as you can for all those poor people who will one day have to leave us, so that they're not quite so sad when they've gone to wherever they had to go. And this can remind you that we don't have to think that when people die, they leave us. We can think that they're fine. We had to leave them. And it's okay, because we created something and gave this little piece of us from our heart to their heart, to everyone we've known, everyone we currently know, and everyone we will know. We've created something, big or small, amazing or modest. We offered it to them, and life will go on in one way or another. So that's my little tip for you today. Ask yourself the question, Who's leaving whom? And we don't know what happens after death, so we can imagine anything we like. So let's imagine that we're fine when we die, but the others had to leave us, but they've left us with a little part of us forever. That's it for now. Happy creating. Talk to you next time. Bye for now.